Today I'm in Edinburgh with my cousin Billy from Canada, and we're going to be testing the TripAdvisor's top 10 to see if the rankings hold up. TripAdvisor use fancy algorithms and thousands of user reviews to determine their rankings. Our rankings consist of Billy's opinion and his scoring of the categories entertainment, cultural role, accessibility, and price. Using these, we will determine an overall value score.
Alright, let's go.
At number 10 on TripAdvisor's list is Calton Hill, a small hill at the end of Princes Street that will take you only a couple of minutes to walk up. There you will find yourself 44 metres above the street below and 101 metres above sea level, giving you one of the best views in Edinburgh. Keep watching to find out what the best view is. On Calton Hill, you will find the unfinished National Monument. Built to commemorate the Scots that perished in the Napoleonic Wars, it was supposed to be an exact replica of the Parthenon in Athens. However, only 3 years in, the project ran out of money, so construction was halted in 1829. You will also find the observatory and the Nelson Monument, a testament to Admiral Nelson's victory at Trafalgar.
Because of its spectacular sunset views, the history on display, its easy accessibility, and the free price tag, we rank Calton Hill at number 7.
Moving on to number 9 on the TripAdvisor list, the Palace of Holyroodhouse. Found at the bottom of the Royal Mile lies King Charles III's official royal residency in Scotland. The Palace of Holyroodhouse was built by James IV and lies next to the 12th century abbey constructed by David I. He had the abbey built after allegedly seeing a vision of the crucifix between a hart's antlers. This imagery can be found on the gates outside of the palace. The house was named Holyrood because of this story. Monarchs extended the palace structure throughout the centuries, with a large amount being constructed over the reign of Charles I and II. It became the palace we know and recognize today in the 19th century over the reign of Queen Victoria.
The audio guide included helps to make your journey throughout the house significantly more interesting, and the artifacts and tapestries on display are very impressive as well. With almost 900 years of history, this has been a pivotal location for Edinburgh throughout the ages. It is convenient to get to, easy to navigate once inside, and the pricing is also quite reasonable if you're able to get your hands on a concession ticket. All in all, we've chosen to rank this at number 6.
At number 8 on TripAdvisor is the Real Mary King's Close. Found in the upper half of the Royal Mile, the close is named after a merchant burgess who resided there in the 17th century. This guided tour attraction delves into the history of a plague-ridden Edinburgh as you go through the real streets and houses of people that used to live there. In the 18th century, much of the close and adjacent closes were collapsed or converted to make foundations for the Royal Exchange. This is now the city chambers. Therefore, the tour has a feeling of being underground, whilst not being so.
Your guide will be constantly cracking jokes and telling fascinating stories throughout the tour, making it an attraction rich in both cultural significance and entertainment. However, if you're not a strong English speaker, you will be relying on audio guides, which don't necessarily provide the same level of character to them. The attraction is also dimly lit, something you can consider when evaluating accessibility. It is also the most expensive attraction on the list, with only adult and child tickets and no discounted options. And so we've chosen to rank it number 8.
Number 6 on TripAdvisor is Old Town, also known as Old Toon. It's the oldest part of the city and at one point was the entire city of Edinburgh. It's been a World Heritage Site since 1995 and has some of the best preserved medieval architecture in the world.
Full of old pubs, souvenir shops, and beautiful buildings, there will often be street performers found somewhere in Old Town, whether that be on the Royal Mile or in the Grass Market. There's plenty to see and admire. It's strange to really have this as an attraction, as Old Town is more of an area and it encompasses a lot of the other attractions on our list. So if you're planning on seeing any of them, you're going to experience Old Town as well. We have it in the middle at number 5.
Coming in at number 5 for TripAdvisor is Camera Obscura. You won't be bored exploring the 5 floors and over 100 illusions Camera Obscura has to offer. The interactions will have you entertained, confused,
Fellows, they felt. It's really hard with the echo.
and possibly a little dizzy.
Well, this is really crazy.
Located just below Edinburgh Castle, you'd do well to miss it, as its walls are lined with distortion mirrors on the outside. The camera Obscura itself is surprisingly impressive and is always paired with an entertaining demonstration.
Whilst greatly entertaining and certainly fascinating, camera Obscura doesn't quite hold a strong cultural significance and is one of the more expensive attractions in the top 10. Therefore, it's ended up at number 9 on our list.
At 5 attractions in, this is what our bottom 5 looks like compared to TripAdvisor's. TripAdvisor's 4th highest rated attraction is the National Museum of Scotland, a combination of 2 museums, the Edinburgh Museum of Science and Art and the newer Museum of Scotland. Due to this merger, the museum has a comprehensive range of exhibits. From the T-Rex to the telephone, you won't get bored in a hurry with thousands of objects and artifacts to look at and read about.
With plenty of interactive activities for kids and the incredible number of attractions on display, there's something for all ages at the museum.
Complete with a cafe and plenty of toilet facilities, it's a must visit, especially on a rainy day.
And while it doesn't necessarily have the most amount of importance to Edinburgh's culture, there is a lot of Scottish history on display. And as the only free indoor attraction on the list,
This place is free.
we highly recommend the National Museum at number 5.
Starting off TripAdvisor's top 3 attractions, Edinburgh Castle. Edinburgh's most iconic attraction sits 130 metres atop the extinct volcano of Castle Rock. Building restrictions have been put in place to ensure that Edinburgh Castle is a dominant part of the city skyline. Having been occupied since at least the Bronze Age, there are thousands of years of history to be found on this site. The Rock has hosted a royal castle since at least the reign of King David, who we mentioned earlier. Today, it is no longer a fortress for royalty, but a home for veterans, a venue for Edinburgh's most significant annual event, the Military Tattoo, and a daily tourist attraction. Around the castle, you will find the National War Museum, included with the price of your ticket, the Crown Square featuring the Scottish Crown Jewels, the Scottish War Memorial, and the Great Hall, built in 1511 for King James IV, the same king who had Holyrood Palace built. With oak beams from Norway, it's a magnificent room. One of the most exciting castle highlights is the 1 o'clock gun, which happens every day except Sundays and certain public holidays. Don't forget to also check out the dog cemetery whilst wandering around the castle. There's lots to see and also an audio guide available for an additional cost, but it's by no means a must.
Offering beautiful Edinburgh views right from its centre and the authentic Scottish castle experience, it would be hard not to justify a visit to the castle when you come to Edinburgh. Deeply rooted in rich history, this is a castle that you can comfortably spend hours in, roaming through the different halls and towers. There is of course a price to pay, but it's not unreasonable, especially if you're a holder of a Young Scot card. On our rankings, the castle comes in at number 4.
At number 2 on TripAdvisor, the Royal Yacht Britannia. It was commissioned in 1953 and served the royal family for over 44 years, travelling over 1 million nautical miles before being retired here in Leith. With a thorough audio guide that takes you through every room on board, you'll get more than your fair share of royal history. The ship was famously used by the then Prince Charles and Princess Diana for their honeymoon, which is mentioned throughout the tour. You will explore the full extent of the ship, from the bridge at the top to the royal quarters, down past the various standing and leisure areas, right to the bottom of the crew accommodation, and even past the engine room. There is plenty to see aboard the 125 metre long vessel.
If you're not big into royal history, then this may not be the attraction for you. It's very much a look and listen activity with little to no interaction, so it may be harder to keep some of your younger kids interested. There was a free sample of fudge, which was greatly appreciated by the both of us. However, the yacht has little to do with Edinburgh in regards to its culture and history, and really could be berthed at any port in the UK. It is also significantly more out of the way than any of the other attractions, as the yacht is located in Leith. However, since recording this, it is now slightly easier to get to, as the city trams extend to Leith, making the yacht more accessible. With all these factors considered, while still an amazing experience, we're ranking the Royal Yacht at number 10.
At TripAdvisor's number 1 spot, we have Arthur's Seat. At 251 metres up, it's by far the highest point in Edinburgh, and without a doubt, its best view. The now extinct volcano provides an amazing 360-degree panoramic view of Edinburgh and beyond. It's located in Holyrood Park, just behind the palace.
Arthur's Seat is an amazing 30-minute hike up to the top. It is an absolute must-do when in Edinburgh. One thing to note is that it is a hike, and so dress appropriately because it will be windy and potentially cold at the top. But speaking personally, the weather does very little to detract from the magnificent view. So if you're looking for an unforgettable experience and the most stunning views Edinburgh has to offer, Arthur's Seat deserves to be right at the top of your travel to-do list. We've chosen to rank it at number 2.
Our number 1 pick from the top 10 is the Royal Mile. This iconic street is the heart and soul of Edinburgh. It runs from the castle to the palace, giving it its royal title, and has a length of 1,807 metres long, which is deemed a Scots mile.
The Royal Mile is as much of a must-see as the castle itself. However, it's completely free. As you amble down the cobbled streets, you're walking through centuries of history. This ancient thoroughfare is lined with a myriad of shops, key historic sites such as St. Giles Cathedral with its iconic crown spire, restaurants, and traditional pubs, each exuding a distinct Scottish charm. The Royal Mile offers a sensory feast that captures the true essence of Scotland. And so, contrary to TripAdvisor ranking the Royal Mile at number 7, we've chosen to put it at the very top of our list, ranking it number 1.
Here is our final top 10 compared to TripAdvisor's. If you want the most culturally rich and best value for money Edinburgh experience, then we hope you find our list helpful.
Thanks for watching.